Welcome back, everyone. We are continuing with our second to last team match in the round robin stage. It is going to be Aura versus the Guangdong Freaks. And first up on stage, it is Aura.
Yeah, Team Aura fighting for third place right now in the preseason standings to get that better seed against Rocks heading into the postseason. A lot on the line here, and it's almost a David versus Goliath story here, as they will have to beat the Guangdong Freaks, the Speed Kings themselves, to do it.
Yeah, and that's not to say that Aura is necessarily an objective David-like team, but Guangdong Freaks are just like Goliath 2.0, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, they're too big.
You just cannot try to approach those guys in a regular manner, so Aura, we'll see what their plans are today. I mean, most people expecting that the only shot they have is to try to take it on in item mode and then go to that ace match. But of course, here we go, the current #1 team in KDL Preseason 1, Guangdong Freaks, currently 6-0 in their matches, trying to see if they can get a 7-0 perfect score here in the round robin stage.
Yeah, Freaks never were able to deliver a perfect score in the Kart Rider League, you know, and now here in the KDL, it's a new game, new iteration of Kart Rider. In the preseason, they would absolutely love to go 7-0, go perfect, don't lose a single set to any team. Hasn't been done before. Would be phenomenal to see him do it here.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, one thing we should note is we talked about this before the break, but Aura also has quite a few players that used to be on the Guangdong Freaks and then used to play with some of those members currently on it, like World, of course, Knockin' Tech, and then C's as well.
Time.
Oh, it's
I like
our
that.
time. It's our time. Get it? Oh, they're so clever. Ah, these hooligans.
I love not holding it up. Just like, do they get it?
Yeah.
Does anybody get it?
He's
Hello?
like, did they see it? Yeah, can I check? But yeah, Nox, C's, and Tech, 3 players that used to be on KDF. Nock and Tech are kind of that item mode specialist duo that state you mentioned before.
Yeah, you should wake up from a dream of a clean sweep.
Oh, okay, a bit of a challenge, seeing that they're going to give Guangdong Freaks their first loss finally here in the KDL.
It would be an impressive feat to be able to do it, and it would solidify their position and rank 3 here in the standings. They would be able to wear the red stripes heading into that 3rd and 4th place match in the postseason, but it's going to be a tough opponent to go through. I mean, the Freaks, they have been unstoppable so far here in team match, as they've already secured first place in the round of 8. Yeah. 1 match away from a clean sweep of the full league.
Yeah, and I mean, they're kind of signs just saying, you know what, it's our only goal now is to win, and that's what they've been doing, right? I mean, that's all they've been doing here.
It's all they know how to do, man.
Just saying, it's been a while. A little shout out to some former teammates and racers that used to be on the Guangdong Freaks. Of course, you know, some members like World currently on KDF have played with his former teammates before, and then the coach as well, right? So a lot of familiarity between these two teams. Now, Aura, not only do they have players over from the old Guangdong Freaks, they also have players from the old Blades, which was coached by Hojun himself, the Emperor, currently returned as a player. So again, they have quite a reputation in terms of individual career. But let's look at this. Guangdong Freaks, they decided to take the speed mode priority, and they will be picking up the tracks. Now, one thing that comes to my mind state is that their first ban was on Rickety Rails, which was one of the only 3 track losses they've had in speed mode. So taking that right away, or taking that out right away, rather.
God, they've only lost 3 tracks in speed mode.
That's insane, yes.
I had to check the stat sheet when you said that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Cobra, I hate to correct you, man, but you're wrong. But
played,
no, you aren't.
Yeah, they played 21 tracks and they've only lost 3. And they've won, obviously, every single speed mode. So
insane. So Pharaoh's Pass going to be track #1, followed by New York Rally, Mine Winding Slope. And then let me see if I can check my sheet right here and see what the rest of those ones are going to be.
Yeah, well, we'll take a look at some of the fans saying this is the year of Aura. Now this side cheering for Guangdong Freaks. Them saying they just want to go home early, so please make it a quick 2-0. Actually, we'll see if it comes to fruition. It's Aura versus Guangdong Freaks. We're going to KDF's choice. It's Desert Pharaoh's Pass.
And we're off here on Desert Pharaoh's Pass. Guangdong Freaks looking to go perfect here in the KDL preseason. Aura looking to pick up 1 win, make Guangdong Freaks bleed, and secure that 3rd place spot heading into the postseason.
Yeah, I'm just going to temper expectations for all of our viewers right now. If you're new, I mean, this is looking like an uphill battle. And Aura, if they do have a chance of beating KWANGDONGFREECS, it is most likely in that item mode. But again, we'll see. But you saw it in the highlights if you're here during the break. I mean, KWANGDONGFREECS, the way they win these speed modes, it's not just because they're great racers, but they have some crafty ways of really disrupting the enemy.
Yeah, I don't know who's doing the play calling on the Freaks, but whoever's doing it is doing a fantastic job. And you can see just the coaching paying dividends. Is, you know, Spear over the course of the entire preseason has been coming through with some absolutely crazy self-sacrificial plays to block players on other teams and, you know, solidify the win there, because really, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter where any individual racer finishes on any particular track. It's all about how the team stacks up. And the Freaks, they're so good at, you know, building on each other's skills, but right now, Aura bringing the fight to them, man. I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, C's and Hero kind of fighting against former teammates. C's, of course, on the KWANGDONG Hero used to be teammates with Sungbin over on Blades, and now they're kind of fighting for that 1-2 spot against each other. Na'Vi now coming for support against Hero. Aura's looking for that 1-2 finish.
Yeah, they're gonna see if they can get it right now. Sungbin and Cool hop on their heels, but Hero a little bit too far ahead, and actually C's gonna be able to come through in second place. So Aura with a bit of a role reversal, going to take track number 1 here, give the Freaks their 4th speed track loss of the season.
The fact that we have to make that a big deal is crazy, but it is crazy. I mean, you know, KWANGDONGFREECS, they don't drop these tracks, and Aura, they came out swinging on KWANGDONGFREECS' choice of Pharaoh's Pass.
And you know, this is one of the insane things too, is that, you know, as the Freaks, you're so good at speed. You're one of the best speed mode teams in the KDL. Is actually Hero set a new record here on Pharaoh's Pass, really showing that Aura came to play. But I mean, for the Freaks, you're coming through and you're also prioritizing speed. It's like, okay, well, even if we do lose an item mode, you know, we don't care about it if that's our weak spot and that's Aura's strength. We're confident enough in the ace, but you know, Aura coming out swinging here in track number 1, winning and putting the Freaks in kind of an awkward spot on their pick.
Yeah, and I mean, part of it just came down to Aura having a good start and always having 1 or 2 members fighting for that number 1 spot, and that way, KWANGDONGFREECS, they couldn't run away with it. That was also a track where they couldn't just stop and ruin the entire run, so let's see how things change now as we go to track number 2. It's World Tour New York Rally. And the race begins. Aura leading 1-0 against KWANGDONGFREECS. Last time it was Hero taking the lead. This time he starts at the front again against KWANGDONGFREECS.
Wow, the Team Aura's off to a great start here yet again. Let's see if the body blocking can come through. See Sungbin taking that inner line, trying to close the distance right now on Hero, and is able to work his way up to second place. Yeah. Now right behind him, the cavalry coming in, Cool World and Spear. They're not too far behind, but Sungbin, he's trying to do something to break up this pack.
Yeah, now he's going to have a couple chances when we go through a couple of these crazier turns, a little bit of this U-turn, but Sungbin, he's actually already been phased out. So now he has to catch up first if he wants to do any sort of disruption. World now catching up as well for that support. If one of them can cut in first and then set up for the rest of their teammates to catch up, they have a chance. But look at the top 3. They're starting to run away with it.
Yeah, Aura's doing a great job. They're just drafting off each other, these top 3 players. They're trying to create some distance. And so right now for C's, the game plan is just create some collisions, cause problems here for the Freaks. Don't let them close the distance. But, I mean, the Freaks, this is what they do best. Sungbin and World already contesting top 3 spots is, I mean, they're doing a great job. The only question that I have right now is, will anyone be able to catch Hero?
No, I think Hero's already locked in for first place, more or less. There is a shot, but it's going to look tough. Now, meanwhile, Knock already now being pushed all the way back alongside C's to that 7th and 8th place. That might spell some trouble, even if Hero can get first. 2, 3, 4 locked in for KWANGDONGFREECS. Knock has to be able to catch back up on the last couple turns.
2, 3, 4 is a win condition here for the Freaks. Let's see if Spear can hold on. Knock is right behind him, trying to draft and boost his way, but it's a straightaway. There isn't a lot play. Freaks are going to come through and win track number 2, tying this one up 1-1.
So rough for Aura. Great start, and we saw it on the kind of zoomed out minimap as well. It looked like they were going to be able to run away with it. But KWANGDONGFREECS, the way they work with each other to always catch back up and start to create this situation, and also I think understanding their win condition, right? And they say, all right, if Hero's away up front, that's fine. We can still go for 2, 3, 4, and we can still go for 2, 3, 5, 7. There's a couple of these other options, and as long as they're not stuck in 8th place, that there was always that hope, and they make it work.
Yeah, it just goes to show, you know, the teamwork here for Team Guangdong Freaks is impeccable. They've been showing it all KDL preseason. They're the team that, at least in speed mode, seems to gel the most together. Just great chemistry. You know, everyone, it feels like, knows what they have to do in every situation to play the role for the team, and just coming through in spades there. Aura, that's about as good a start as you're ever going to get against a team like the Freaks. And so for the Freaks to come back with a 2-3-4 finish is just phenomenal. Let's see if the Freaks can do it again. We're getting ready to go into track number 3. Freaks looking to continue on the quest to perfection as we go to Mine Winding Slopes. Here we go on Winding Slopes, and the Freaks already off to a much better start than they were on the previous track. World, Spear, and Cool already in top 3.
Yeah, we did see a bit of a crash back there, so a couple of the players on both teams going to have to play catch-up as we look at Guangdong Freaks just trying to keep the entire lead. Now this entire track, a very tough track here in the KDL, quite narrow the entire time, and then of course several opportunities right at the end too to really disrupt the final jump.
Yeah, a lot of really tight turns. Actually, C's taking that a little bit too greedy there. Is going to knock him down to 8th place. So now for Team Aura, you have to start thinking about what your win condition is going to be coming in. As we actually have a lot more collisions.
Guangdong Freaks actually bumping into each other there on the shortcut, and they're going to lose a lot of that steam. Now Aura, if they actually just play it safe, they might be able to secure a nice little standing here.
And World hitting a pole. The Freaks getting cold feet right now here.
Uncharacteristic of Guangdong Freaks. They're losing steam entirely. 1-2, running away with it here at Navi. And World's trying to do whatever he can to catch back up, trying to stop Knock at the very least. But here's the thing, you got to be able to break up the 1-2 position. Spear doing what he can. He's going with that 5-2, 5-2 build, so just a little bit of extra boost power compared to his teammates. But Hero and Navi are way out in front.
There's no way. The distance is too great, and some really uncharacteristic mistakes by the Freaks here. I mean, we're talking about how difficult this track can be, or actually laughing about, you know, the tumultuous problems that the Freaks went through here on track number 3. And I mean, that's going to be another one going to Aura, but I feel like it wasn't a win that they got from racing well. Just something really went wrong there for the Freaks.
Yeah, I mean, especially that collision with each other on the shortcut, and then one of them having to skip out on the entire shortcut. And then I think from there on, what started to happen was all of them individually trying to just cut and greed, you know, kind of change up their builds, and perhaps the communication breaks down, right? And you're starting to make mistakes that you normally wouldn't because you realize all of you guys are so far behind. But whatever it was, wherever it stemmed from, at the end of the day, Aura will secure that win. Now on set point in speed mode out of all the modes against Guangdong Freaks. Guangdong Freaks looking like they might actually lose their first ever speed mode in here, KDL preseason number 1.
Yeah, and this is their priority too. They have 3 out of the 5 map picks, so Aura so far winning both of Guangdong Freaks map picks. So they actually get a replay here of some of these collisions.
Yeah, so first off, we had Knock getting knocked out of the race, really, right at the beginning. Yeah, C is greeting it too. I mean, both teams, right? Both teams.
It was a mess. And I want to see the shortcut coming up here. Yeah, oh, okay. So one of the players for the Freaks took it a little bit too greedy. They collided off the wall, rebounded, and their teammate just did not see it coming.
Yeah, and they bump. So that one's off of a pure mistake. You're just trying to recover. Your teammate can't react in time. And then from then on, clearly just trying to catch up in whatever way they can, but it doesn't work out. So now they have one more shot to take it to set points here. It's going to be track 4 as Aura leads on Glacier Extreme Stadium. 2-1 lead for Aura, and let's note this was also one of the 3 tracks they have ever lost Guangdong Freaks before today's match, so see if Aura can add on another number. On top of that right now, Navi, Hero, and C's all trying to pressure Spear out of that first place position.
Yeah, nice start again for Aura as they have just come out with a vengeance here against the Guangdong Freaks. The Freaks are trying to go perfect right now. If they win this match, they will sweep the entire regular season here in the KDL preseason. But Aura, I mean, just seemingly coming out of nowhere, one of the teams that's been struggling in speed mode throughout the entire preseason, now hanging with the best of the best. Season Navi in second and third place, Knockin' Hero right behind them, coming into these hairpin turns. It's been a good fight here for Aura. Let's see if C's can make some plays and try to pass Cool.
Well, Cool safely in front, and Spear also pressuring C's enough that C's can't make any sort of a risky play. Of course, you're still only on the first lap as well, so no one going too crazy. Navi tried to make a play against Spear, but Spear holds on tight. Now, one thing we need to remember, KWANGDONGFREECS, one of the teams that has been running mostly that 6-2, 6-0 build, so it goes to show that Aura, with the better boost time, they're going to get the lead early, but KWANGDONG, if they can catch up and they start to bump up against you, they'll start to run away with it with their better acceleration.
Yeah, it almost feels like the Freaks want to play an almost team fight style in speed mode. They want to hit those collisions. They want to have everybody slowing down so that they can leverage their build for acceleration to their advantage. But you know, it's working right now for them here. And set number 4, we might be going to a set number 5.
Yeah, and Cool has been banking up the team boost as well. That's part of the formula here for KWANGDONGFREECS' build. They need to make sure they're ahead in not only overall boost, but the team boost. And now Spear cutting in right on the inside line as well. Sees gets completely shut out. World there to sweep if he needs, but it doesn't look like it's going to be necessary as KDF, they look for a safe 1, 2, and 3 finish.
Yeah, KDF with a strong response to that last track loss, as they will be forcing a track number 5 here in team speed mode. And man, I mean, we were talking about this before we went live today. We were not expecting this match to go this far here in speed. We thought, if anything, you know, Aura's going to win an item mode. They might force an ace match. That is possible. KWANGDONGFREECS, though, just unbeatable in speed. And now, I mean, we're still on match point here for Team Aura.
Yeah, and it's going down to Terracotta Twister. And
oh, boy.
Man, if we saw anything there on Winding Slopes, if either of these teams get a little aggressive, a little greedy, we could continue to see some more crash collisions here on that last track. But KWANGDONGFREECS, you can see it in their faces, even though it's preseason, even though they're locked in for first place, they do not want to take a speed mode loss to Aura out of all teams, right? I mean, this is kind of their pride, their bread and butter on the side of the KWANGDONGFREECS.
Yeah, they want to go perfect. Unable to do that in any KL season. Now here in the KDL, it is only the preseason, but still starting off a new league with 7-0 overall and continuing that perfect dream is just what they want to do, as we're going to go to track number 5 here in speed mode. Aura versus the KWANGDONGFREECS on Terracotta Twister. All right, here we go. Track number 5. Let's see if Aura is going to be able to come through with an upset here. Already off to a great start. Are Knock Navi in season 1, 2, 3, but this is a very tricky track. Too many
tracks, too many R's. Yeah. Well, we'll see KWANGDONGFREECS now. Part of their build, again, because they have the better acceleration as well, they can also constantly make sure they're ahead in overall team boost gauge with their cutting as well. So I'm curious, Aura, I mean, surely you've studied their tape. What is your response to this? Just trying to hold on to number 1 is not a guaranteed answer. Yeah,
but with Knock in third place right now, Aura is in a good position coming into some tight turns. We'll see how greedy these players decide to take it. Actually, World playing greedy there, but just, you know, threading the needle, able to take first place off of some fantastic moves. Knock and Navi right behind him with some team boosts in the bag. We'll try to close the distance.
And meanwhile, we saw it in the lower right corner, but Sungbin just making sure that it's Aura locked in for 8th place, if not both 7 and 8. So that means Knock and Navi, they have to try to at least get first place, if not even the 1-2 finish, if they want any hope of making sure they take the speed mode here.
Yeah, Navi with a little bit of collision there, not too problematic, but as you said, I mean, it's going to be all about getting position 1 and ideally position 2, as Sungbin, you see him now in 8th place. He's just been trying his darndest this entire time to control the back rank here for Team Aura, and now Knock, it's all on him to try to supplant here. Yeah, World in first place.
Yeah, C's has to get up to 4th. That's a necessity, even if Knock is able to get to 1st, because otherwise it would have been a 2-3-4 for KWANGDONGFREECS. Now Knock has logged into 1st. He's trying to make sure he blocks off World. He's keeping in the lead, but World cuts in right here on the 90 degrees. He actually bumps into the wall just a bit, gives Knock a chance.
Only 500 meters left to go. Let's see if World can hold on to this lead. Just barely ahead of Knock right now, but it's 20-19, you're right.
The 2-3-4, no, not one, but there's the 2-3-5-7. Hero stays at 7th place. ahead of KWANGDONGFREECS.
Unbelievable. Aura defeats KWANGDONGFREECS, the Speed Kings here in the KDL, getting their first loss in Speed Mode. And now it's up to the Freaks to win an item mode to force an ace match against Aura.
I cannot believe it. 6 matches, 6 Speed Mode wins for KWANGDONGFREECS. They beat Sandbox 3-0 on Speed Mode. Right? I mean, Roxy go 3-2. They've beaten everybody so handily. And now against Aura, they take their first Speed Mode loss.
Just unbelievable stuff here. Aura with a tremendous upset in Speed Mode. And it must be such a confidence booster heading into item mode now. Aura just seems absolutely locked in today. And if you're the Freaks, I mean, you might be getting inside your own head a little bit right now. You just had your first loss against one of the teams that is not known for their team speed prowess. Is Aura, you know, with leveraging that 5-man roster, going to be swapping in their item ace tech for Navi. This is a scary situation here for the Freaks. Are you going to be able to beat your former teammates from Kartrider League, your former item ace specialists here in KDL?
Yeah, Tech coming in, and then alongside Knock. I mean, that's a double team effort here for Aura, and it just goes to show you can't judge them just based on the team banner, right? Of course, not currently under a pro banner, but again, these players, they've done their fair share of work throughout their careers, and Aura proving that individually they have a spot here at the top of the KDL. Taking a look at the track list, Aura, of course, now having the first pick. They'll take Half Pipe first, and then we go to Mushroom Caves, Pharaoh's Pass, Magma Cavern, and if it comes down to round 5, will be Icebreaker Pass.
Yeah, and man, it just is insane to me that the Freaks, not only did they lose Speed Mode, but they prioritized Speed Mode. So now moving into item mode, this is something where Aura has 3 out of 5 map picks, and you might think, okay, well, that's not too important. Well, think back to Live Sandbox setting up with that water balloon, you know, in the first match. That was their map pick. That's something that I am sure they have practiced. It's right before the finish line. It's a critical moment. They're able to deliver it. Who knows what tricks Aura has up their sleeve. If they can win this one, they will be able to give the KWANGDONGFREECS their first defeat here in the KDL preseason. Let's get to it as we move to Glacier Polar Halfpipe.
Aura on the verge of perhaps the biggest upset so far in KDL, trying to leave their mark as they give KWANGDONGFREECS their first loss and deny the potential perfect sweep here in the round robin stage.
And on top of that, solidify that 3rd place position there. We were coming into today thinking that, you know, Rox Esports right now, they're probably going to at least finish today in 3rd heading into the postseason, because there's no way that Aura's going to be able to beat the Freaks. The Freaks are just on another level right now. But Aura coming through with a tremendous upset in Speed Mode, and now in item mode, I would almost say Aura might be favored. I mean, they have the item ace, they have a fantastic record throughout the entire KDL preseason. I think something like a 75% win rate in rounds in item mode. And I mean, if you're a Freaks fan at home, you got to be worried about this development.
Yeah, I mean, again, obviously they're still in first place for the postseason, but here's the thing. KWANGDONGFREECS also as a team, they've never actually lifted the trophy. They came in 2nd place 3 times in a row in 2022. And so, I mean, this already kind of spells trouble again, maybe a little bit of paranoia about, are we just never destined to really safely get first place, you know, win that trophy in any tournament in Kartrider?
It could be the kind of thing that kills your confidence to take an L here against Aura heading into Live Sandbox, who, you know, at one point they did defeat Live Sandbox earlier in the KDL, but keep in mind, that's when Sunghwa was injured.
Yes.
So now you might get in your home, it's like, well, did we even really beat Live Sandbox? You know, like,
oh no.
Maybe you start second guessing yourself a little bit. And of course, KWANGDONGFREECS, they have a fantastic coaching staff, so they're gonna be trying to quell all that concern, all that paranoia, all that self-doubt as they get ready to go into the postseason. But for now, the Freaks right here in item mode against Aura are going to try and keep the perfect dream alive. But Aura in a fantastic spot. Z's right now in first place, holding on to both a Magna and a Nitrous. Take doesn't have exactly the item set that he wants, just with the Angel Shield, but
yeah, Texas trying to draw aggro, but meanwhile, C's is the final one who's trying to finish first. He gets the boost right on the curve as well. And what a sweet finish here from Aura. I mean, that just played out exactly how they pictured it here in track 1.
Yeah, just one of the cleaner finishes that we've had in item mode so far. I mean, Live Sandbox, up until they lost to Rox Esports, was the best item mode team in the KDL, but now it's Aura. Aura has the highest win rate, almost 80% overall, and oh man, I would love to hear the comms for the KWANGDONG Freaks right now. Is
very curious, right? I mean, this was never your strength. The item mode was never your strength, so curious to see if they have some form of recovery here as we go into the second track. Now that is their pick, obviously they would want nothing more than to get that win, try to chain it into, eventually lead to an ace match.
Yeah, they would love to do that. Keep in mind also that KWANGDONG Freaks is a 4-man roster, does not have that item ace to swap in, as a lot of other teams do, Aura especially swapping in an item specialist. So pressure is on here for the Freaks. 2 tracks away from avoiding perfection. They would love to start a comeback here in item mode and force an ace match against Aura. Let's go to Forest Mushroom Caves. Track number 2 here in item mode. Aura up 1-0 already. And Chobra, man, I'm liking what we're seeing from Aura today. I feel like they might be some serious competition in the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're proving again just that their individual careers weren't for naught, right? And now that they're finally coming together as a team, you know, across the past couple weeks, they're starting to really prove their full potential, maybe even more. Of course, barricades coming in. Sungbin just going to happily block into that, get it out of the way, make sure he can recycle his items. Now, this is just 2 laps and a relatively straightforward one. However, yeah, exactly, like these bridges, they are tight, so the water bombs will do some damage. You'll definitely want some shields or angels here for the second lap.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where there's a little bit more room for aggression than some of these wider tracks that we have in item mode. And no, Aura, with their skill in item, we'll see if they're able to leverage that to their advantage. You know, World right now up there with C's.
Yeah, finally catching up with his own boost and a lightning bolt as well. So C's, you'll be able to happily catch back up. But great, again, these water bombs, they hit wherever you are unless you're shielded, because most of this track is just wide enough for one single water bomb.
Yeah, you would have to hug that wall so tight to actually avoid it, and it's something that you can't really preempt that reliably, right? You don't want to be hitting that wall or close to hitting that wall the entire way through each lap. The Freaks right now, it looks like Sungbin and World are their 2 players who are closest to the pole position, holding onto a lot of nitrous. I'm trying to see exactly how this is going to shake up here for Aura. It seems like they have a lot of magnets.
Yeah, Angel coming in for KWANGDONG Freaks. They have another one as well, and boost all the way up the front, so they don't have any magnets. They're relying purely on the boost, but here's the thing. Not enough magnets close enough here towards the end. Sungbin actually dodges it, but the UFO comes in. Hero, no item. He only gets a shield. He gets magneted back by Tech. He's trying to launch forward. The barricades, it gets Angel, but Sungbin just out in front. Eventually able to land in first place.
Yeah, man, a sigh of relief here for the KWANGDONG Freaks as Sungbin coming in on the right side, able to get that first place, avoiding the barricade, as there were a lot of attacks there, and there's final moments there for the Freaks to avoid. Able to deliver a win here in item mode as the best of 5 turns into a best of 3. Now, that was a little bit of a scary position there for the Freaks. They didn't have a lot of magnets in the bag. It was mostly just the nitrous, as you pointed out, that they really were going to be relying on heading into the end of that lap, but able to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, again, they had a pretty hefty lead, and I think one of the biggest things was just dodging that water bomb right at the end. Maybe a bit preemptive by Aura, right? There was that one last bridge that you could try to use it on, but I think trying to find a timing against potential shields and angels, so that's a bit of a 50-50 mind game. Just a little awareness about the camera, and now we have some fans just praying for Sungbin to try to secure this victory here. See if it comes true.
Yeah, Freaks fans, they're stressed right now. They want their team to continue this perfect run with a victory and force an ace match. Let's see if they can do it here. Desert Barrows Pass.
Tied 1-1, Aura versus KWANGDONG Freaks. Of course, Aura did win the speed mode, so if they can get the lead here, they would be going to match point against the #1 team here in the KDL Preseason 1.
It still feels so crazy to hear you say that Aura won the speed mode here against the KWANGDONG Freaks. Something that hasn't been said yet this entire KDL preseason, as the Freaks been undefeated thus far, but up against the ropes right now. only 2 tracks away from perhaps, you've secured first place, but you really want to finish with that perfect record, especially here against your former teammates, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's even crazier now that I've thought about it a little bit longer, State, is the fact that they've now lost their first speed mode. That means they lost as many speed mode tracks today as they did the entire preseason so far, right?
Yeah.
3 until now, and then 3 tracks today. So KWANGDONG not too happy right now, and then now trying to claw back in item mode, which was never their strongest suit here.
No, they've always been capable in item mode. It wasn't like Racinggame up until last weekend, who just struggled almost the entire preseason to try to get a grasp on that specific mode. But they've been kind of middling, whereas Aura, as it stands right now, is the team with the best record in item mode in the KDL preseason. And, 2 tracks away from one of the biggest upsets, at least I've seen here in the KDL, or at least it would be if Aura was able to deliver a win, is coming here into the final lap. Now, looking at the items, World right now holding on to 2 boost is the pole position player here for the KWANGDONGFREECS. Sungbin holding on to double Angel Shield, so he'll mostly be playing support. Spear with a Magnet and Nitrous. A lot of options, a lot of defense here for the Freaks.
Yeah, I mean, Freaks, they definitely had a couple ways they could play this, right? Like you mentioned, just going for the pull from World as everyone else just latches onto him with the Magnets. But meanwhile, you have to consider, what does my enemy have as we go through the final jump? World actually being slowed down by the UFO that allows Aura to get ahead without much opposition.
Take still holding onto a Magnet. It's going to pop that right now, but it's too late as the Freaks actually able to come through and deliver yet another win. And what feels like a role reversal. I mean, an ace match was always in the cards here between these 2 teams, but I always thought in my head that it would be, if we got to it, it would be, the Freaks winning in speed mode and then Aura winning in item mode. And now the Freaks, if they win one more track and item, they will be able to force that ace match.
Yes, which is
In
crazy.
a very weird way.
Yeah, the fact that the Freaks are forcing the ace match is a little bit weird to say, but they do get that precious win here on Pharaoh's Pass. A nice finish right at the end by Spear and World. I mean, just one of them has to enter. They both take the first, second place position, guaranteeing that at least one of them will bring the win home for the Freaks. And now on set point, trying to tie things up against Aura here in item mode.
Yeah, Freaks would love to force that ace match. They want to keep this perfect dream alive as... with the animation, that's actually so cute.
Yeah, actually.
It's like, no, that banana is not going to touch me.
Yeah, here's that last moment here. A nice boost saved up by Spear and then the Angel as well. That single-handedly, the thing is, he was completely out of the radar, right? He was still in 3rd or 4th place. They were perhaps maybe concerned about potential Magnets coming out, but Spear just boosts and kind of weaves his way around his opponents to the finish line.
Yeah, the Freaks just had a wide array of possibilities there at the end. A lot of options with their item set. They were able to deliver a win with that now. Match point, one more win. They can force an ace match. Will they do it here on Mine Magma Cavern? KWANGDONGFREECS just 1 track win away from forcing that ace match and keeping their perfect dream alive here in the KDL preseason, trying to go 7-0, undefeated into the postseason. I mean, Aura heading into this match said, put that dream away. It's not going to happen, and so far they've showed up.
They've definitely been living up to that trash talk here prior to the match start. Now Hero just running away with it, has double shields, just going to keep that lead for the time being. The water bomb's actually doing a lot to widen the gap. Of course, still 2 extra laps, so Hero not going to be holding on to that for too long. But I am curious, will he cycle through these shields, or is he just going to hold on to that and set himself up for a pole position here? That means they would have to start saving up their magnets here on the 2nd lap.
Actually holding onto his shield, so not cycling any with that first little pack right there of items. Now slowing down, actually gets a banana, so also not really what you want here for Aura, but no, only lap number 2. A lot of track left to be played here. A lot of opportunities to get more items.
Yeah, Hero just picks up an Angel. He'll cycle through one of the shields, brings up a missile as well. Now, most likely he's been more or less set up to kind of play the support position, but here's the thing. I mean, that lightning bolt comes in so clutch. KWANGDONGFREECS, not only do they have the items like the EMP and the Angel, they also have boosts as well. They could do another type of finish where one of them just kind of weaves through right at the end.
Yeah, it feels like they are setting up for something like that. They have 3 players in the top 4 positions, which means that there might be too many targets for Aura to comfortably handle. Now, we do have a water balloon coming out. That's just not trying to cycle through these items. He wants to get something a little bit better here as the lead racer for Aura, but so far it's nothing but attacks. So Or not really getting the item set that they want. Knock, just nothing but bananas, man.
Bananas,
this hurts.
Third place, that is rough. Knock, can he get something? There is a magnet now. He's gonna use it right on World, right towards the last one. And the UFO actually comes in clutch as well. World slowed down. Tech now trying to block him off, but World's just able to barely, no!
Oh, Tech just comes from behind right there at the end. And we're gonna be going to a track number 5 here in item mode, as we both thought World might be able to run away with it there, but Tech with just a little bit too much momentum. And a nice rebound there from Aura. You know, it felt like the way the items were going there in lap number 3, they didn't really have the setup that they wanted, but still able to deliver a win. And
that UFO right at the end, I mean, super clutch timing. Seeing some great UFO finishes today, actually, in both of our first 2 matches. Of course, we do have another team match after this one, so we're not even close to the finish line for today's broadcast. But right now, it's a do-or-die situation to see if they go to an ace match or if Aura will wrap things up in a nice upset against KWANGDONGFREECS, securing Aura themselves the 3rd place seed, the upper seed in the lower bracket final.
Yeah, it feels like this upcoming map might be, you know, the apex of today, with Aura on the verge of completing one of the biggest upsets here. And, you know, take a big reason why this was able to happen with that UFO just coming through so clutch there right at the end. Able to get that win and force a track number 5 here in item mode. This is Aura's map pick.
This is Tech's Aunt here to cheer him on, so see if they can go. They had originally said let's go to an ace match, but they might not even need it. I mean, they might be able to win 2-0. Let's find out as we go to the final track. It's Glacier Icebreaker Pass. They're off on track 5 of item mode. Aura leading speed mode already. Can they make it a 2-0 upset, or will we see one more ace match here between these 2 teams to decide what the seeding will be for Aura here in the postseason?
It would be such an underdog story for Aura to win this one, secure that 3rd place spot heading into the postseason, and, you know, put KWANGDONGFREECS' dream of going perfect here in the KDL to rest. The Freaks just a couple of tracks away, just 2 tracks away from being perfect. But I mean, the pressure is on, and this is pressure that they really haven't faced this entire preseason. This is by far the highest octane moment. I mean, this is them testing their nerves here in track number 5.
Yeah, we'll see KWANGDONGFREECS. Can they pull themselves together? Now, this one of the more basic tracks in item mode, of course, so water bomb's not going to do as much damage, neither will the barricades. So really, this time it does come back to the kind of meta build of the magnets to boost potential UFOs, as we've seen in the past couple tracks. So curious to see, as we enter track 3, do any players keep together? As we see, Cool's constantly been looking backwards for these missiles just to widen the gap a bit more.
Yeah, Cool just trying to gather a little bit of intel there for his teammates Sungbin and World, as KWANGDONGFREECS want to save those Angel shields for when they need them the most. And now heading into soon lap number 3, we'll try to see exactly how these item inventories are going to stack up. And for the Freaks, it looks pretty good already. Sungbin with a nitrous and a magnet is something he will almost definitely not be cycling out. Right behind him, World holding on to double nitrous is another good set of items, actually opting to try and get a magnet if he can.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wonder if that UFO gets saved, but it's going to be used right away. They're aware that perhaps everyone kind of has the final items they want in the boost and the magnets, so just making sure that they're always in contention with Tech trying to catch up to Spear here.
Yep, Hero holding on to 2 Angel shields might be important, as we're only 500 meters away right now. Aura with an early lead, but the magnets are going to be coming in.
They're in the tunnel. They can't get past the barricades. It's not going to work. The Angel brings home victory as Aura wins 2-0.
Unbelievable here at the KDL. The Freaks only 1 win away from going perfect in 7-0, but Aura, manned and led by 3 of their former teammates, are going to come through with a 2-0 victory here, living up to what they said in the pre-match interview, that they're going to put the Freaks' dreams of a perfect KDL preseason to rest. The Freaks now 6-1, of course, still in 1st place, but that's painful if you're a Freaks fan, and perhaps an ominous sign heading into the postseason is, I mean, the Freaks, they've got to be questioning themselves, and it is definitely Aura time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a great race today in both speed and item mode from Aura, and Again, I mean, even in that last track, we see the setup, right? They had everything already lined up, constantly cycling through, had the Angel coming in from 8th place just for support. Make sure that nothing can stop them. They understand that on that track, the last section is just a tunnel, right? If you can get in before that, if you can magnet before that, you're able to body block practically anyone as long as they don't kind of jump above you in some way. And then they just shield for any potential attacks. The barricades all get broken. A great understanding of the tracks and the items available to them. And that is a speed and item mode win for Aura KWANGDONGFREECS. No longer a perfect scoreline in matches. Still first place, but you recalled it again, State. Can they eventually lift the trophy? They have yet to do so.
I don't know, man. And they might be doubting themselves now heading into the postseason. This was their last match of the KDL preseason, so the pressure, it's only going to ramp up from here. They're still in first place, you know, no matter what here. They just wanted to go perfect, but, you know, you head into that first and second place match against Live Sandbox, you know, the first match of the postseason. That's a scary opponent. Now with Seungha back, especially hot on the heels of a loss here to Aura. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it's great that you mentioned that. Yeah, the rematch against Sandbox is going to be that upper bracket final, but now with Seungha back in the mix, playing in that speed mode. Jimin, of course, returning to his item ace position for Live Sandbox. So curious to see how that'll shake up. Curious to see kind of what's going through KWANGDONGFREECS' mind, right? Even if it's the preseason, I mean, you would have loved to kind of set a nice little point of your career for your team, for you as racers individually to say, you know, I know it was preseason, but we kind of left a mark in our history of KDL. We were kind of the first team, right, to really pick up the trophy. We kicked off KDL. Now that doesn't look as easy as it was going to be.
Absolutely not. I mean, the Freaks have shown that they are mortal. They do bleed. Aura did make them bleed. And not only speed mode, but I mean, also item mode.
Both, yeah.
I mean, just winning in both of those. We thought that, you know, if there is a win condition here for Aura today, it's going to be most likely winning an item mode and forcing an ace match.
Yes.
They didn't even need an ace match. I mean, one of the Aura, I can't remember whose aunt it was, but Tech's aunt is here in the stadium.
She had to fix her sign,
right?
She
brought a sign. This is his aunt, you know. She's his #1 supporter. She's here live in person. Final match of the preseason before we head to the postseason here.
Yeah.
And she had her little cheerful prepared, and it's like, let's get to an ace match.
And then she crosses out. She's like, no, let's just win.
It went even better than that. I mean, if you're like #1 fan right there is in the audience, like, okay, let's get the ace match. Let's, you know, come through in the clutch right there against the Freaks, but you actually win in speed mode. I mean, it's just an insane upset and some uncharacteristic missteps from the KWANGDONGFREECS overall today.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but think back to, you know, track 3 on speed mode, right? The winding slopes, so, you know, one of your players bumps into the wall in the shortcut and then eventually kind of leads to a chain reaction. Then you're all frantically trying to change your builds to catch up. You keep making mistakes. But let's also mention, I mean, both speed and item mode end up going to track 5, right? 3-2, 3-2 scoreline. So that, again, goes to show what a tough opponent Freaks are, right? Just to make them bleed, it took you 10 tracks to do so.
Yeah, 10 tracks in total is, you know, the Freaks, they put up a good fight there at the end. They really wanted to go perfect, but Aura just denying it, man. I love that they lived up to what they said before the match even started, because, you know, we saw that and we laughed a little bit, but, man, they meant it. Well, they really meant it.
And now I'm curious with what they showed in speed mode today. Now they take that 3rd seed against Rocks in that lower bracket final in the postseason. So they'll have priority choice. If they brush up, choose speed priority, pick 3 tracks on speed, I mean, if Rocks doesn't win speed mode, they definitely don't look that strong, right? Aura might be able to knock out the ace killer Jong before even getting to an ace match.
Yeah, if they can deliver a 2-0 there, that's going to be probably their best path to success, because I think any match against Rocks in the postseason, I mean, anything can happen in the postseason, of course, but Jong just being undefeated so far in ace matches, 5-0, you have to think that Aura, their game plan is going to be to avoid that. So yeah, now with the 3rd seed, maybe they do pick speed mode as their priority. They know they're the better item mode team.
Exactly.
Rocks was able to beat Live Sandbox over the weekend in item mode, which was another insane upset. But
I mean, that was an anomaly, though, right?
It feels like it has to be, right?
And the thing is, in their matchup in the round robin, Aura did go 6-0 in tracks, right? They do a 3-0 sweep in both speed and item mode. Of course, both teams have clearly been improving, and we've seen players even try changing their cart builds as the preseason has been going on. So maybe we get even some more tech as we go into the postseason here. But Man, I think both the lower bracket and upper bracket final right now, the lower bracket being Aura versus Rocks, and then the upper bracket being Sandbox, Live Sandbox going up against Guangdong Freaks. It's a toss-up for both sides.
It does feel that way. I mean, Guangdong Freaks coming into today, I was thinking, yeah, they're definitely the favorites heading up against Live Sandbox or really anybody who gets in second place.
Yeah.
But they do bleed. I mean, Live Sandbox, especially with how good that they are in item mode, even if they don't win in speed, they have a good chance of forcing an ace match. And
yes.
you have a lot of players on that team, including the global player Neil, who has an opportunity to prove himself in a 1v1, which is kind of his forte, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, you still have Insu, Hyunsu, maybe even Sungha, depending on the track, if you want to try to kind of trade things back and forth, depending on whose condition is better that day. So, I mean, again, good chance that both of those in the postseason will go to the ace matches. Of course, just for format explaining, since we have a little bit of time, the lower bracket final, if you lose from there, you're out. So Aura going up against Rocks, they both have just one life to be able to try to continue here up to the grand finals. Meanwhile, Live Sandbox and Guangdong Freaks, even if they lose, they will have one more chance to play the winner of the other match to try to get back into the grand final. So, you know, there's a little bit of margin here for the top two seeds.
Yeah, there's a considerable amount of margin. I mean, you have that extra life. It's almost like a double elimination tournament for you if you're top two seeds. It's a good spot to be in. And guys, when we get back, we're going to go to a short break. When we get back, our final team match of the day, don't go anywhere.